I think it's always important for us from project to project, and probably I would imagine a lot of people say this, from project to project to try and do things that might be unexpected, both from the listener's perspective, but also for our perspective, so we can continue to develop and grow in some sense artistically. And also face ourselves to challenges, new challenges that we haven't necessarily experienced before. So in recording our second album, we wanted to use different production techniques, different themes, different influences, and we also had we had more wherewithal, we had a bigger budget and more freedom to do it exactly the way we wanted to do it. The first record was recorded in a basement while we had our day jobs, so every night we just go into the studio and work on that album. The second one we rented a home in upstate New York and just had a work-live space, and at any hour of the day could work through the night however we wanted to. It was really, we were solely devoted to that, so the process was a little bit different. I think that's good. Well, you know, the first record, as we played that live for 2 years, you start to change arrangements in order to relate to a crowd, and a lot of those songs became more up-tempo and dancier. So with that hindsight, we went into the second album wanting to touch on other dance music influence, you know, dancehall, early 90s R&B, and going into the production side, really work on creating tones that activated subs in a club a lot more than our first record, which is much more of kind of a, I think, introverted headphone listening experience. We've been very fortunate, and I think you're always going to alienate some people if you don't do exactly what they expect. But if you like that first record, it'll always be there to listen to. I think we have a fair amount of people around the world that have supported us in touring, and I think understand what we are doing and what we're trying to do, and that it's not unexpected for us to hopefully do the unexpected. So, you know, the live shows have only gotten bigger, and it's been a good experience. I mean, I personally am always excited by artists that from project to project really take a left-hand turn and just explore something else. You know, I mean, David Bowie is kind of the person who comes to mind the most. Has probably been one of the most successful artists that's done that, and most talented. But you know, that's what I get off on. I kind of like seeing the development, even if it's a flop, even if it's a record that I don't really like. But it's like, well, at least they took that chance. I don't think we ever really set out to be just 4 or 5 whatever sweaty dudes on a stage, just banging on guitars and just being a rock band. You know, that kind of sense of minimalism and Generation X, I guess. You know, that whole kind of idea that, yeah, whatever, man, we don't have a backdrop, we're just rocking. You know, that was never our thing. I think all of us have had experience in the theatrical world or in the movie world, film world, and different kinds of entertainments. And it's not just the live show, it's also the imagery of your album, the imagery of your poster work. What kind of designs is affiliated with your band? What's the image and what's the mystery that you're going to create? Because it's up to you to do that, and there's different levels of mystery or different levels of a shade that certain bands, you know, decide what it's going to be like. be what their public face is going to be like. Some people like to be totally open,
Mm-hmm.
but even that is a facade, you know, whatever that reality that they have created is. And some bands like to be totally mysterious, and you know, it's like when Ghostface Killer came out, when Wu-Tang came out and Ghostface Killer had that mask on forever, nobody knew what he looked like. That was like one of the most awesome things ever, you know. That was just so fresh. Never, you know, nobody had ever thought about doing that. It was just so cool flipping this idea of your ego and your imagery and being in a band and being a huge public figure, you know. And it's been done since, you know, Daft Punk and MF Doom, and it's interesting. So yeah, I think it's important to control all aspects of what you do and also engage. Understand that it's not just about being on a stage, and that's especially now at the breadth and speed that people obtain information, that you need to engage that. I mean, you don't need to, but I think, you know, for us it's important to. The enjoyable part, I mean, that process, the enjoyable part about making music videos is finding people that whose work that you like, and then seeing how they interpret and reinterpret what you've done. For the Ambling Out video and the one video we worked with this couple, Radical Friend. And you know, there's a large back and forth about what was going on, but that was their imagery that they came up with. You know, the second one, we wanted to do something that was a little more like a classic video from the 90s, being on like a club and dancers and stuff, and kind of weird 90s futurism ideas. How the future was perceived in 1991. And then for the third one, we worked with Andreas Nielsen. He just came up with that idea. We had a lot of treatments from other people, and he came up with that treatment, and kind of right away resonated with all of us. It's fun to collaborate with people with other visions.